In northern Arizona, just outside a small Navajo community, a rancher stepped out onto his porch after hearing his dogs go silent. Not barking, not growling, silent. He scanned the fence line and saw something standing near the livestock pen. At first, he thought it was a man, tall, still, watching. Then it dropped to all fours. But it didn't move like a dog. It moved wrong, slow, deliberate. And just before it disappeared into the dark, he said he heard it whisper something. Not a growl, not a howl, a whisper, calling his name. Whatever was standing out there wasn't supposed to exist. The Skinwalker is one of the most disturbing figures in American folklore. Originating in Navajo tradition, a Skinwalker is said to be a witch, someone who has committed dark rituals in order to gain the ability to transform into animals. Coyotes, wolves, owls, even other people. In traditional belief, they are malevolent, they harm others, they bring sickness, they are not spoken about lightly. Over time, that legend expanded beyond its cultural roots. Internet stories amplified it, paranormal shows dramatized it, Skinwalker Ranch brought the term into mainstream conversation, blending it with UFO sightings and strange phenomena. Today, when people say Skinwalker, they often mean something much broader. A humanoid creature that mimics voices, an animal that stands upright, a thing that watches from the edge of the firelight. But instead of asking whether skinwalkers are real, let's flip the question. If something is causing these encounters, what kind of real-world entity could actually explain the behavior? Because when you look at the reports, certain patterns repeat. Mimicry, standing upright, watching silently, approaching homes, moving strangely. So what kind of organism could produce that? Let's start with the traditional explanation. In Navajo belief, a skinwalker is a human witch who gains power through taboo rituals and can shapeshift into animals by wearing their skins. It's a deeply rooted spiritual concept. It carries cultural weight. It's not treated as a campfire story. It's treated seriously within its origin. And that's important. But from a biological standpoint, literal shapeshifting presents a problem. There is no known mechanism by which a human can physically transform into another species. No genetic process, no physiological pathway, no evidence of human bodies capable of morphing bone structure, muscle density, or mass in seconds. The cultural explanation is powerful, but it requires accepting supernatural transformation as a biological reality. And that's a large assumption. Then there's the modern escalation. Some believe skinwalkers aren't witches at all, but something else entirely. Interdimensional beings, demonic entities, government experiments, creatures that mimic human voices to lure victims. These stories often include glowing eyes, impossible speed, unnatural silence, and links to UFO activity. It's compelling, it's terrifying. But it also stacks assumption on top of assumption. Now we're not just talking about shapeshifting, we're talking about alternate dimensions, advanced technologies, and multiple unexplained phenomena merging together. And the more complex a theory becomes, the more evidence it requires. So what if there's a simpler explanation? If skinwalker encounters are real experiences, the most logical explanation may not be supernatural at all. It may be biological, specifically, a predator. Let's break down the reported behaviors. Voice mimicry. While no predator perfectly mimics human speech, certain animals can replicate sounds in ways that distort perception. Coyotes can produce vocalizations that resemble screams, cries, even laughter. Echo in open desert terrain can warp those sounds further. In darkness, the brain fills in missing pieces. Standing upright. Bears can stand fully upright. Coyotes and wolves can rear briefly. Mangy animals losing fur can appear disturbingly humanoid from a distance. When posture is combined with shadow and fear, proportions become exaggerated. Watching silently. Predators watch. They assess. They observe before approaching. Slow, deliberate movement. That's not supernatural behavior. That's hunting behavior. Now consider environment. Most Skinwalker stories come from remote areas, open desert, sparse lighting, livestock regions, minimal artificial noise. These are prime predator territories. Add disease into the mix. Mange can cause severe fur loss, making animals appear skeletal and human-like. Rabies can alter behavior and remove normal fear responses. Malnutrition can change posture and movement patterns. A diseased coyote standing upright for a moment, under moonlight, half covered in fur, staring silently from the edge of someone's property, that image alone explains a large portion of encounters. Now add psychology. Fear distorts memory. Darkness distorts shape. Cultural expectation fills in details. If someone already knows the legend of a skinwalker, their brain may interpret ambiguous stimuli through that lens. The human mind is powerful, and it doesn't like uncertainty, so it resolves uncertainty with narrative. But let's be fair. There are reports that don't fit easily. Voice mimicry that sounds too deliberate, figures standing motionless for long periods, extreme height claims. Even here, though, we must consider how stress affects perception. Sound carries unpredictably in open land. Echo can make voices seem closer than they are. Shadows stretch. Distance is misjudged at night. Memory under adrenaline is notoriously unreliable. And unlike shapeshifting or interdimensional travel, the predator hypothesis stays within known biology. It doesn't require new physics. It doesn't require hidden dimensions. It requires one thing: that humans occasionally encounter wildlife under conditions where perception breaks down, and fear does the rest. So here's my take. The traditional witch explanation is culturally significant, but biologically unsupported. The interdimensional or conspiracy explanation is fascinating, but assumption-heavy. The predator hypothesis aligns best with known animal behavior, environmental context, and human psychology. This doesn't mean every story is misidentification. It doesn't mean people are lying. It means that if something is being encountered, the most logical explanation is something natural, something territorial, something intelligent, standing just beyond the light. Sometimes the scariest explanation isn't magic. It's that something wild is closer than we think. Maybe skinwalkers aren't shapeshifters. Maybe they're predators. And sometimes, that's even more unsettling. If you're ready to question what ghosts might really be, that episode is next. I'll see you there.